Hello, friends. How are you today? There's so many jitters in the air. Everyone is so jittery about tomorrow. Which, yeah, there's a lot hinging on it. But you know what? To tell you the truth, this jittery energy, I feel it all coming from the White House and Trump and the GOP. I'm sure other people are doing readings on what to expect from the hearing. What I want to talk about, because it's a bit complex and technical, and I know you guys are picking up the astrology. I'm so proud of you, because this is complex stuff, and I've decided I'm just going to keep the wheel, keep the horoscope out, let it mark up my hands, so you guys can understand what's happening. That was part of my intention with starting this channel, was as a messenger. There were so many things that needed to be shared, and that I was compelled and thrust into this space to do that. And so, remember, okay, before I get to this, I just want you guys to just kind of reflect for a second, okay? I think it was after the full moon eclipse, that video, yeah, that is the Capricorn Cancer full moon eclipse. I was describing the energy of that, how that day might have felt like there was so much intensity, but there was no movement. Like there was a lot of pace, but it was slowed. That it was just such a teeter-totter of energies. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it really was crescendoing, and I was asking everyone to just kind of chill. And then from all that intensity and push, that all of a sudden everything went slack, because the moon was no longer tethered to a planet, so it was void, because it was in late degrees of Capricorn. And then the energy picked up the next day. That's what this, this is actually the Cancer Capricorn full moon chart. And then that's when Donald started his whole thing against, AOC and the squad and blah, blah. He's still going on with that. He's carried that on all through here. Well, if you can remember that intensity, perhaps now today, maybe yesterday, hasn't that just kind of lifted? It's just not really there anymore. Like there's a clearing sense of kind of relaxed open-heartedness. That was the energy I wanted you to be aware of, because the reason why we have this shift away from this push and pull and this intensity and nothing moving, but getting everything grinding so intensely, is because the sun moved out of Cancer. It went into Leo. That's called the Leo ingress. That's what I call. So that energy isn't accessible anymore, that push-pull. Now we're more relaxed. That was the energy I wanted you to separate from Donald and the administration, that intensity, push-pull, that fear, that paralysis, to separate that from what's really happening with this administration, because today feels totally different, doesn't it just seem like he just doesn't have as many strings to pull? He's not that powerful. I mean, he tried to scare us yesterday with whatever's going in the Strait of Hormuz. They're trying to manipulate a lot of things. Well, they were doing it on a very scary stage, and I probably gave Donald a false impression that he's all then powerful, because now the sun is in Leo and poof, that's all gone. That's what I wanted you to separate from. The intensity in your fears, where they were coming from, and how you were tying them to this administration or events in your personal lives. Okay? And so, we're going to be kind of on this gentler energy, and kind of go back to average with it. That stuff will pick up again in the fall, and it'll pick up in the winter. But you have to understand this push-pull, the intensity, that energy is still building, and it is going to come to a major culmination in January, and it's just going to be, the screws will be tightening, tightening, tightening come January. That's why I want you guys to take care of your bones and fluids now, and your ligaments and everything now, so that you can mineralize as we lead up to that point. Okay? Let's see. Okay. And so, having said that, I guess something's happening tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. in Washington, D.C. I've got some charts I want to share with you. So I think you'll find this interesting or kind of mind-blowing, because I know I did. So here we go. This is the chart for the House Judiciary hearing. You know what, just a second. Okay, so since we're talking about charts and not necessarily cards, actually, my hands kind of needed a break too. But my hands are impulsively wanting to just maybe show a card. Oh, a Knight of Cups. I wonder what that's about. Maybe that's Mueller tomorrow. His offering and peace to all of us. And so, tomorrow's House Judiciary hearing is scheduled for 8:30 a.m. in Washington, D.C. There's a lot of interesting things happening in this chart. First, we find the sun here in the 11th house. Remember, this is the eastern horizon, the western horizon. This is below the horizon, above the horizon. So in a day chart, we call a day chart when the sun is out. A night chart is when the sun is below the horizon. So at 8:30 a.m., that's the time that they said they're starting, we have the sign of Leo in its final degrees rising over the eastern horizon. The sun has risen to 1 degree Cancer. We've got Mars in the 12th house. The 12th house is going to be energized. The 12th house has to do with hidden secrets, hidden enemies, and also deception, illusion, confusion, but also inspiration, spirituality. The midheaven, the highest part of the chart, when the sun rises, it reaches its peak, and then it sets. That is at 24 degrees Taurus. The part of fortune of the chart, if you want to think of the Wheel of Fortune, which is where your fortune lies, well, it's not in the 10th house. The 10th house is what everyone can see, and the 10th house would belong to Donald as president of the United States. No, it's in the 9th house, my 9th house of Putin. So I take that to mean the moon is there too, representing the people, with Uranus, sudden, unexpected, shocking news, all in the 9th house. So there's going to be a big concentration of information and news in the 9th house. And while it might not be fortunate news, it is news that helps us. We might not like it, but it's fortunate to us in that we have it. Does that make sense? Now, our fortune, that fortune is shining a great big beam down here to Saturn, Pluto, and it's making a sextile here to Mercury and Venus. So these energies are really going to flow with like judgment, authority, the law, and Mercury and Venus, contracts and money. Okay? The other thing with the moon being in Aries, it's disposited by Mars in the 12th house. So this is where a lot of the activity and conversation is going to happen tomorrow. And so here's what's really interesting. This is Donald's natal chart. Look at this. His midheaven is 24 degrees, 22 minutes. This chart for Mueller hearing is 24 degrees, 48 minutes. It takes 24 hours for the horoscope to make a full rotation. So what are the odds that it aligns like this with his midheaven? Moreover, Donald's ascendant is 29 degrees Leo. This is 29 degrees Leo. almost like it's fated how this stuff lines up. So the moon is also going to be, it's beaming a trine to his Mars. Oh, he is going to be full of himself and aggressive tomorrow. Ooh, as if the full moon chart wasn't activating him enough, being crazy. It's just going to augment. Now, when you look at these two charts, look at Donald's chart. Doesn't he have a lot more blue, harmonious colors than angry red colors? That's why life is easy for him. And these blues are like really beneficial planets aspecting each other, like with money and inheritance and whatever. It's really a beneficial chart for him. Well, this chart, not so much. There's a lot of challenges. So it's like we are talking about Donald, and he is not going to be in charge of this, okay? The other thing I want you to look at, the moon is going to be 25 degrees Aries. It is squaring 25 degrees Cancer Venus, which is gains, income, money, women, things feminine, pentacles. Think the Empress, the nine of all the pentacles. It is, so there's a square, there's tension with that. And because it's Mars, there's going to be aggression there. It squares Mercury retrograde, contracts, contacts, communications. What I like about this Mercury retrograde is that we are revisiting things from the past. We're revisiting this Mueller report. So it's going to be easier for us to take in all this information. Now, the real beauty of this, Donald's Venus is 25 degrees Cancer. Transit Venus is sitting right on top of his Venus. And so there is no way around to not discuss his income. On top of, remember I said that full moon eclipse was like we finally had a can opener to separate him from the blocks that he had protecting his monies to opening it wide open. I just feel like this is like a great big pickle jar that nobody can open, and tomorrow it's like, wah, it's open. And it stayed open. So that's what I wanted to share with you for tomorrow with the House Judiciary hearing. And then later on with this hearing, you'll notice there's a applying square. The sun is at 1 degrees Leo. The moon, we're heading into a quarter moon that is going to happen overnight. So it's like everything that's being discussed at this hearing is going to be activated and sifted and metabolized. It's the most significant thing for the first quarter moon. And this first quarter moon, oh my goodness, we can talk about that later. But this first quarter moon follows up that massive eclipse that we had on January 21st. The one that eclipsed his inauguration, if you see that video. It also touches, now I said the January 5th eclipse was like the setting, like we set the table. It was a setting for this to just make the massive change. It was like the thing that opened the door. Well, that January 5th eclipse, look at this. That midheaven was 22 degrees Taurus. The ascendant was 28 degrees Leo. This is how eclipses work over time. Not everything happens at once, but those fault lines are established energetically on average about 18 months to 2 years. But I mean, the power, it fades over time. But that's when things happen. So here's the door that opened. This was the eclipse that transformed his inauguration. And here we are tomorrow at the House Judiciary hearing. And here's Donald's chart. It's like they all align. So have faith, you guys. Don't get on a wild goose chase, because that's what Donald does. He can only activate things within the realm of a quarter moon. And right now, we're coming up to here. okay? I mean, think about it. What has he really done besides bully people and threaten and scare people? Nothing. I don't know what he's done. What have they done? Well, they're just kind of waiting. I think they've just been waiting all week for the Mueller hearing. So that's what I want. Here, let's just throw some cards really quickly. What does Donald think about this hearing tomorrow? What does he think about this hearing tomorrow? What does he think about this hearing tomorrow? Oh, interesting. He expects this to touch on the 2016 election. Well, he's right about that. Okay, what's the overall thing for tomorrow? Offers that have been made, or was it watching the election happen? Does this have to do with voter data? Because this is my Tad Divine card. I don't know. Let's get some more information. You know what? Rebecca Mercer. I always call her Laura Mercer for makeup. Rebecca Mercer shows up all over the place for me with all these things. I bet she's redacted in the Mueller report because she's everywhere. So the election offers money, funding, Trump, Russia. This is what he's thinking about. This is Donald now, what he's thinking about for tomorrow. Okay. and his treason. So here we go. He's just going to sit and watch the show. He's pissed off. Can't be coddled. And he's worried. He is worried about this, Rebecca Mercer, the agreement with Russia, how they got him elected, how they hung on to that. This is all social media. For me, it's also Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg. But I think that's what he's focused on tomorrow. So that's what he's focused on. That's the most important aspects of the report. You're going to have to watch to see who stays on those topics and who tries to lead away. And that doesn't really matter. And why are we talking about this again? It's just no big deal. Yeah. Okay. You know what? Bill Barr. Let's ask Bill Barr. Bill Barr. What do you think about tomorrow? What are you thinking about tomorrow, Bill Barr? Really? Is it the death of you? Death of you all? Is there change? That is just like, not putting it mildly, that is major arcana. Okay, Bill Barr, what do you think about tomorrow? What are you expecting from tomorrow? Oh, Nancy Pelosi. These guys, they're all afraid of Nancy Pelosi. Oh, he's going to sit and watch too. He's looking at all the offers with money. Are they going to cover that? And this might be with UAE, Saudi Arabia. There's China. It's also, you know, obviously the emotions and the lies and the truth. What are they going to be able to figure out what I lied about, what I didn't lie about? And the offerings and rescues that I did, maybe. He's wondering how much is going to be illuminated. About the 10 swords in the back. Glad to see we're all kind of on the same page. And, you know, let's ask Robert Mueller real quickly. Robert Mueller, what are you expecting for tomorrow? What are your thoughts? How is this going to go? I really hope you just kind of disregard that bogus letter that was sent by deputy someone not in charge of you and just go rogue. He's such a handsome man. He is just wonderful man, wonderful patriot. Okay, Robert Mueller, cut my deck. What are you expecting for tomorrow? What are you expecting for tomorrow? We have, the Hermit. Your investigation. Yep. Maybe the spies that are out there. You're going to talk about secret money and secret deals, dark money. Ooh. Yes, you have strength. You have profound strength. good news, Jared. This could also be what was happening with UAE, Saudi Arabia, with their digital operations to undermine Hillary from abroad. And it could be like maybe people who weren't part of the transition team or can't necessarily the campaign doing stuff like that. Oh, he is bringing the sword of truth. He is bringing the truth about the money too. Oh, pow. It's all faded, you guys. You know, it's essentially done because we already had our eclipses. This energy has been rolling out all week. There's nothing that can take away from that, okay? So enjoy tomorrow. That is 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what I'll be doing. I know I will have coffee, lots of it. So anyways, take care. Namaste. If you like this video, please click like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.